Hello my friends. Today we are going to talk about cutting. Now for some of you guys, whether you're just starting your cut, whether you're just at the end of your bulk and you need to figure out which path you're going to choose, you pretty much have two options ahead of you, and those are the slow cut or the recomp and the fast cut. So let's dive right into this. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each, and I'm going to give you advice on which one you should do. Now, if you're a beginner, or if this is your first cut, or if you are just seriously overweight, I would strongly recommend that you do a slow cut or a recomp. The reason that I recommend this is twofold. Number one, the slower your cut, the more muscle you are going to retain. Now, as you might know, or as you might not know, when we go into a caloric deficit, our bodies chew up both fat and muscle in order to feed that caloric gap. Now, the faster you do it, the more muscle is going to be depleted. And the reason for that is because, you're going to be pretty much eating the same amount of protein no matter what. Also, you're going to be, training in order to stave off the muscular atrophy. So, obviously, the slower you do it, the more muscle is going to be retained, and it's going to, in the long run, help you. So at the end of your cut, you're not going to have lost as much muscle and strength. And because you haven't lost as much strength, you're going to be able to put that muscle back on a lot more quickly. The other really big reason that you want to do a slow cut is sheerly because what happens on a fast cut in terms of stress to your body does not take place on a slow cut unless you get really far into it, unless you get to single digit body fat. That's when your body gets really stressed out from the cut. Now, whether you are on a slow or a fast cut, one thing that you're going to notice is that you're going to be hungry all the time. And it's a little bit worse on a fast cut, to be honest with you, but you get it over a little bit more quickly. Actually, a lot more quickly. So that hunger is going to be with you for the entire duration of your cut, which could last up to, 6 months if it's a real recomp, or 7 to 8 months if it's a real recomp. So hunger is going to be a really big problem no matter what, but on a slow cut, it's going to be a lot more annoying. So if you know that you have a really big problem with discipline, you may want to consider a fast cut, because cheat meals honestly have a lot more of an impact on a slow cut. You can't just get away with having cheat days on a recomp, because they're going to have a lot more of an impact to your cut. You can have one cheat day and it could totally destroy your goals for the entire week if you go too far into it, because if you're only in a slight deficit and in one day you eat more of the calories than you need for the week, it's over. So keep that in mind. So particularly if you have a lot of fat to lose, or if you know that this journey is going to be a long one, just go with a recomp or a slow cut. And don't even think about it like in terms of time. Think about it in terms of how many calories per day you're going to drop down to. So, if you're eating at 3,000 at the end of your bulk, drop down to 2,900. See how that gets you. See how far that brings you through the week. If you notice that you didn't lose anything, bump it up to 200 calories for your deficit, then see how that works. Go down in that sort of fashion until you notice that you're reaching goals that are appropriate for you every week. And basically a long cut should last you probably over 12 weeks. That's really what I'm talking about in terms of time. Okay, so let's talk about the fast cut. Now, this is a diet that's going to last you about 8 to 12 weeks. And for the sake of this video, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we're not going to talk about macronutrient ratios. That's a topic for a separate video, to be honest, because it's a lot more complex. And for lay people who are really just trying to lose some weight, it's not that big of a deal. But honestly, if you're into bodybuilding, if you're a strength athlete, then of course you need to consider those things. But for right now, we're going to not talk about macronutrients. I'll put that in a separate video. So anyway, a fast cut is basically going to get you results very quickly. I've personally done one single fast cut in my life. Was it worth it? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was okay. I got some really good results from it. And it was particularly because I knew that I had an issue with overeating. And so with a certain date in mind that was not too far into the distant future, I was able to keep my discipline a lot better, because all I had to think of was, okay, only a few more weeks and then we're good. What I also did was I had, instead of cheat days or cheat meals, I had carb days. So I would, on one day of the week, I would change up my macronutrients so that I got a lot more carbs than fats and protein. And on that particular day, I always did if it fits your macros, which I will make, I think I've made a video on that already. If it's not up, it will be soon. It doesn't matter what you eat. It could be Pop-Tarts or, Cheetos, something dirty like that. As long as it fits into the parameters of your macronutrients for the day, it's okay, you can have it. Doesn't matter if it's unhealthy. And it does work like that for the sake of body composition, but for the sake of health, not really. But on that one day of the week, I told myself it was okay to do that. And that's how I got it done very quickly. What I did notice though at the end of it was I lost a lot of strength. Therefore, I probably lost a lot of size that I gained through the bulk too. But again, at the same time though, I only had about 15 pounds to lose. So because I only had 15 pounds to lose through the entire cut, that combined with, being able to have a goal in mind for the end of it, that's what made it work for me. But I will tell you one thing, it got me results very quickly. I finished the cut within 8 weeks. I actually planned for it to be 12 weeks. It was done in 8 weeks. But I did notice something too. Big problem is that because I was at such a low calorie amount for the day, I got injuries a lot faster too. And that's something that you will encounter as well when you are in a caloric deficit, whether it's slow or fast. You don't recover as well. You need a lot more sleep. And it is more stressful on the body if you do it faster. So just consider, if you start to feel some nagging injury, even if you're really close to the end of the cut, you need to stop. You need to have a deload week, period. So one other thing that I'm going to talk about is that a fast cut has a hormonal impact on you. You're going to notice yourself being more irritable. You're going to notice that you're having a lot less, motivation through the day, and that's due to the fact that your testosterone is going to drop a little bit more than it would on a slow cut. And for that reason, that is quite unhealthy. So I really recommend, again, that's why I recommend people do slow cuts, because yes, if you get to a certain body fat level, either way, you're going to have a hormonal impact. But the faster you do it, the faster it's going to appear, and the harder it is going to be for you to recover from it. And also, there's an autoimmune component to this whole thing as well. Because your body recovers a lot less quickly, because it's being stressed a lot more, you're going to notice that you're going to get sick faster. So if you're willing to sacrifice those three things, it's up to you. I'm not telling you to do a fast cut, but maybe, you may want to consider it. So basically, today we've talked about the slow cut and the fast cut. So I hope that you've gained a little bit more insight into which one that you want to do. Personally, I recommend that everybody just do a slow cut, because that way, even though it might take a little bit longer, you're going to get to your long-term goals a lot more quickly. So that is it for this week. If you liked the video, please share it with your friends. Please leave a like and a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a good day.